This is a 2015 Mazda 5 minivan. The problem this car is having is the brake pedal has become very soft, and no matter how much we try to pump it up, it does not stiffen up. We checked all around the car, all four wheels, for leaks in the brake system, and we can't find any. So our conclusion for now is there is a problem with the master cylinder, and the master cylinder is buried back there behind the battery. So we're going to look at how to replace the master cylinder and see if that corrects the problem. This is the battery enclosure. This is the enclosure for the computer or the ECU. And to get to the master cylinder, we're going to remove both of these. This is the replacement master cylinder. This is the part number for this item. It's made by A Premium Auto Parts, and I'm going to include a link for this master cylinder in the video description. The cover is off the battery. I have the positive terminal here, negative terminal here, and this is the battery hold down bar. So I'm going to disconnect all this. So I've removed the battery. I've also removed the front of the battery enclosure, which is this, and it had a bunch of clips going through it. You just had to unclip them. And now the battery enclosure just has two 10mm bolts in the bottom. I'm going to remove those. So I've unfastened this battery enclosure, and now what's holding it in is the ECU, which is connected to the engine harness. So we're going to look at how we disconnect all this so we can remove the battery enclosure and get it out of the way. This cover for the ECU just has some clips around the periphery that you can unclip, and then you can remove it, and then we just have to remove the harness from the ECU. Let's see how we do that. So the way these ECU connectors work is you have this locking lever, which is now in the release position. But while it's in the locked position, it's held tight or locked by this little clip right here. So you press the clip and you move the lever, and then this can just be pulled off of the ECU. And finally, with the airbox cover off and the intake with it, the enclosure comes off and we have access to the master cylinder. So what's lovely here is that this filling reservoir is connected to the master cylinder reservoir. It's this hose, and I don't want to disconnect them because it'll make a giant mess if I do. So I'm going to remove them both together. I'm going to loosen this filling reservoir with the two nuts on either side, and then I'll be able to remove it with the connecting hose along with the master cylinder. So here's what I almost always run into with these master cylinders is even using a good quality tool like this one, it's impossible to break the nuts loose. So what I use instead, locking vice grip, get it good and tight, and just enough to break this loose. Just be careful not to round the nuts. And as soon as I remove the line, I use this plug that came with the master cylinder kit. Actually, I just put it in to minimize any dripping out. Then once I got this line out, I can move on to the next one and unfasten it, break it loose with a locking vice grip, and then plug it. As you can see, both lines are now disconnected and their ports are plugged. And you just have two nuts that hold the master cylinder onto the studs of the vacuum booster, and these are 12mm. So let's undo those, and then we can pull the whole assembly off. So with the two nuts removed, the entire assembly comes right off with the reservoir connected, and here is the new one. And they do look pretty much the same. The only part I have to transfer looks to be this part right here, this plug. And of course I'll transfer the hose and the filling reservoir. This plug that's on the master cylinder is a quick connect or quick disconnect. You can see the tab here facing toward the camera, and if you just squeeze it like with your thumb like this, you just squeeze it, it'll unlock and this comes off. When you install this plug onto the reservoir, just make sure it snaps into place very positively. Okay, you'll hear it click. The kit does come with an O-ring that you can put right here. I've got the new master cylinder on the car, and next I'm going to bleed it. To do that, I'm going to use this setup with these brake fittings. These are M12 by 1 millimeter pitch, and they thread into the master cylinder ports. Then the other end will go into the reservoir, and then I can use the brake pedal very gently back and forth to bleed the master cylinder right on the car. I did need longer hoses to reach all the way from the master cylinder and up into the reservoir, and these are what are they, 7/32 just rubber hose. So even after bleeding the master cylinder and then bleeding all four wheels, I get in the car and the pedal still goes all the way down to the floor, which is not normal. So let me just show you what I'm doing here. In order to test the master cylinder, I've disconnected it again, I've blocked off both ports, and now when I do get in the car and press the brake pedal, it is hard as a rock. So this tells me there is no internal failure of this master cylinder, which I wouldn't expect because this is a brand new master cylinder, but I just wanted to confirm that anyway. So what this means is the failure is probably in the ABS unit here, and we're going to end up having to replace that.